What is going on, my mates? Hope everyone's doing very well. Welcome to the very first episode of the Matesclub Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest on, very cool guy, literally my best friend in the music industry, the realest dude you'll ever meet, Eric from Heart Attack Man. What's up, dude?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. How's your day been so far?
It's been pretty good. It's my birthday, so just been soaking up being 28 and same old. I went to this like bagel spot and I didn't realize they had like a banging vegan menu, so I just went there and spent a lot of money and have just been living it up today.
Hell yeah, dude. I saw that I thought maybe yesterday was your birthday and I felt really bad, but I'm glad it's today and I just want to say happy birthday, man. I saw your mom bought you some plants.
Yeah, she got me some plants. I'm moving. The past few weeks of my life have been really chaotic, but and part of that has been moving into a new apartment, so she got me plants for the new sunroom.
Okay, for sure. So are you and Joey gonna part ways, or are you guys just moving to a different spot?
Joey moved to a new spot. He actually he and a couple other of his friends, they got a new spot like a little bit before the end of the month, and then me and my friend Eric, we got a spot and it's kind of been going into this month, but Joey and I parted ways. We're still, everything's still chill. He just wanted to live with a couple other of his friends, and I just kind of wanted to keep it at just a 2-person spot. So but yeah, sure, Joey's chilling. He's doing good.
So you're moving in with another person named Eric?
Yeah, just 2 Erics. It's this Eric is actually my oldest friend ever, and he's done a few music videos for us. So he's like our music video guy.
Right on.
Yeah.
What videos has he done for you guys?
He did the Fake Blood video. He didn't do the Out for Blood music video, but he did Fake Blood. He did Taking Sides and Surrounded by Morons. So all but one of our I guess official, or I feel like we have more music videos than that, but those are the ones that have been singles that we've released something for.
Yeah, definitely, man. So it's with the Fake Blood music video, was that for you guys? Was that a higher budget production, so to speak?
No, we've never been given high budget with anything.
True. It looks like it's expensive though, with all the medical stuff.
Yeah, we made do with we did what we made the most of with what we had. But the high budget for us is is still in comparison to what other people would quantify as high budget is very, very low budget. Yeah, so I don't know, we just, for better or for worse, just kind of really pinch our pennies and make the most of it. But I don't know, for the upcoming EP, I kind of want to ball out a little bit more and go harder with video stuff.
Definitely, man. Can you talk a little bit about the new music? Is it still an EP you guys are thinking about dropping, or?
Yeah, it's an EP. It's called Thoughts and Prayers. It's 5 songs. It's done being mastered. It's all finished on that end. So it's ready to go on that end. We just need to finalize some artwork stuff, the music video stuff, really just kind of all the rollout stuff, I guess. But it's coming together really nicely. The music side of it, I'm extremely, extremely happy with, and I think it's our best material, hands down. I know I forget. I know I've shown you something.
I've seen quite a bit. Maybe I've heard most of the songs on there, but dude, I'm pretty sure for all the stuff.
I'm pretty sure over time I've sent you. I feel like I had to have sent you all of it by now. Maybe not the mastered version yet, but I mean I've shown you stuff before, so
yeah.
I'm really hyped. It's like, I don't know. We're coming up on 2 years of Fake Blood, which is crazy. But I'm just like really itching to release new stuff.
Yeah, dude. I'm sure. How do you feel about Fake Blood turning 2? How does that, what feelings does that give you inside, man?
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy to me that like 2 years has already passed, but and we just passed 4 years of the Manson family. It's like time's flying, but at the same time, it seems like it was just yesterday. So it's like this weird kind of duality of like the years passing, but no time feeling like it's passed at all. I feel really good though. I mean, to kind of look at where we were then and even where we were 4 years ago with the Manson family versus where we are now, despite how shitty of a year it's been, for like all of 2020 was off the table in terms of touring and really just kind of derailed a lot of things. I think all things considered, we've made the most and haven't let it like seriously derail us by any means. I'm really, I guess, kind of grateful in a way that we released Fake Blood and that we were able to get some substantial touring in off of it. It's like we released it, we did that tour with Seaway, which was awesome. We did some summer stuff, did some shows with Taking Back Sunday, then the Boston Manor tour, and almost a whole U.S. with Knuckle Puck, but that was the one that got cut short. But I mean, all things considered, I feel like we got a good amount of touring in off of it. So I'm just glad that we didn't. If an unprecedented worldwide global pandemic were to happen, I guess I'm glad that we didn't have a full album that we were sitting on and ready to release, and I'm glad that didn't get completely, the cycle for that didn't get completely cut short.
Yeah, you got to feel bad for those bands that just working for years. Dude, it's time to release it.
It sounds kind of selfish thinking about it in those terms, but I mean, it's I feel bad because my heart goes out to so many bands that have that were in that position where they had an album that they were waiting to release. And it's I really think everything of last year really, really messed with a lot of bands' sort of overall trajectory. They're sitting on an amazing album and they weren't able to really go all out with it because, I mean, you can't replace touring, it's there's really no, if there's one thing that this unfortunate past year has shown us, it's that you can't completely replace that. And there's no no real substitution for an actual show.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's really crazy because I feel like touring and just all that kind of stuff, like you said, going all out, it takes it an album from an album to an overall experience. And,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly, because I mean, you could have a band that has next to no internet presence whatsoever and release an album and they're it's fine, and the hype on the album sustains itself because they're able to tour so much and able to maintain relevancy with it. But it's really tough when you can't play shows, and if you don't have an internet presence, it's really tough. It sucks because COVID has really forced a lot of bands to have an internet presence that otherwise wouldn't focus on that. And that's not that's not a dig at other bands. It's just kind of a crappy testament to the times that we're in, because it's a lot of bands aren't good at having an internet presence, and they're not supposed to. It's not their thing, that's not their vibe. They're not and that's fine. I think that's people in bands don't join a band or start a project to be okay, I want to make music, but I mainly want to be this established, I want to be an influencer. It's it doesn't really go that way. It's for a lot of people that are making music, they're a bit more I don't know, they're not as totally outgoing like that. And I think that this past year has kind of forced a lot of bands to put themselves out there more, for better for worse. I think, I'm sure there are some bands that have rose up to that challenge and found out that they actually really like that and maybe learn some things about themselves and,
Mhm.
how they interact with their fans and stuff. And you're like, oh, maybe kind of helps some people break out of their shell. But I mean, for some bands, it's not like I don't know, it's not like a viable lifestyle for a lot of bands. And I totally get that.
Yeah, you can
And
tell for some bands it feels awkward.
yeah, it feels like, you gotta twist their arm. It's like pulling teeth.
Mhm.
Some bands they're like, shit, we gotta like be engaged. We gotta interact with people and stuff. And it's like that's just not their vibe, and that's totally fine. Like I think that's totally valid.
Oh, for sure, man. Like, as far as Twitter goes, like, could you talk about just your overall presence on there and just kind of the role that your presence on Twitter and just on social media in general, like, plays in the band?
I think for us, it's like prior to COVID, I've been very active online, and it's kind of been a defining characteristic of our band. And like, when people are talking about Heart Attack Man, within the same breath they'll bring up like my Twitter presence or something.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes hand in hand. Like I'm very active online, and I don't shy away from that. So I mean, really, for me, it wasn't much of a. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just gonna be like posting more online and shit. And part of that was like navigating. Okay, do I buckle down and get organized with this and make some kind of like quote unquote content schedule or something, or like go harder with, in certain avenues and whatnot. And I'm like,
Mhm.
starting out, I was like kind of trying to be a little bit more legit about like my output and whatnot, but I just got really discouraged because that's just not how I work. I'm like, I'm not like a quote unquote content creator. I just kind of freeball it as I go. And it's like,
Yeah.
I've really just come to find that I thrive most when it's just chaos and shit posting. And like, there's really no actual method to the madness. I'm just kind of rolling with it. So I don't know. I admire everyone and anyone and everyone that's able to have any sense of organization and like uh any sort of like scheduling with being a legitimate content creator and what have you. But like I don't know if it kind of makes it feel like a job for me.
Yeah, man, it's really tough. Like, I see people that, they're creating these really like crazy, like, I guess YouTubers, but they're just creating these really great videos like every week, like every Monday or every Tuesday. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep up with that. That's
I
impressive,
highly
dude.
admire. I that's like that's obviously, I mean it's the present, but I feel like that's also moving towards the future. That's like such a big thing. That's kind of transforming the entire paradigm of just how we consume media and everything. I feel like it's going to be um, a lot more democratic in a sense where anyone can do it, and it's more accessible than ever. Like if you have even a rudimentary knowledge of video editing, and like you don't even have to be good at editing videos to make
Mhm.
something that gets people's attention. Like it doesn't have to be professional.
Right. Like these days, I feel like people gravitate more towards stuff that feels like kind of homemade and personal, as opposed to like the
Absolutely.
people who go on YouTube and just try to make TV. Because I feel like that's not
Yeah.
the point, you know?
Yeah, I think that all kind of started with Jackass.
Yeah.
It's like there's some authenticity to it where it's like, damn, like I'm seeing something that's just like I'm not supposed to be watching this.
Do you feel like that's your Twitter presence in a way?
I feel, yeah, that's a good point. It might, maybe that's I feel like certain episodes of mine, if you will, on Twitter, it's like just kind of like what the hell's going on, and it's like I don't even think about it until it's really happening. So
Right.
it's like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, I think there's a certain element of that.
Yeah, because like you've definitely been in like some hot water before on Twitter, but overall,
Yeah,
I think once everything clears up, man, it's just like one step backward and five steps forward. That's the way I always
yeah,
kind of see it from what happens on your Twitter, you know?
yeah. And I mean, I don't know, the way I look at it, like any major time where anyone's ever actually been mad at me, it's been over something that like is entirely. It's not like something that I'm pulling out of my back pocket that isn't characteristic of me at all. You know, it's not like I'm like, okay, here's this new thing that y'all are gonna be really pissed off at. It's like, no, I mean, it's either me saying or posting something that's like perfectly quote unquote on brand, if you will, but I don't know. There are just certain things that the timing of it all doesn't exactly. I don't know. It doesn't. Sometimes it's beyond me, but I guess timing wise, sometimes it just rubs people the wrong way, and you know, I can't control that. But I'm just being me, and sometimes I guess I'm an asshole.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what kind of draws people to like your presence on Twitter is that you're just unabashedly yourself and you're not afraid to be that way. And if people get mad, like you don't really care. Like, I mean, if you hurt someone's feelings, like you'd for sure apologize. Your main thing is just to be you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The thing is, I don't deliberately set out. I'm like, okay, who am I gonna hurt? Who am I gonna hurt today? Who am I gonna traumatize today? Like, it's not. I don't know. I never seek to deliberately hurt anyone, and all things considered, you know, some people might be surprised, but I mean, I do have a conscience, and I don't try to hurt people.
I think most people are able to see it's just a character for the most part, you know?
Yeah. It's I don't know. Anyone who actually knows me knows who I am and where I stand and how I am and whatnot. And I don't know. It's like fucking Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit. It's kind of a character in a sense. It's a side of me.
Yeah, like you let me in your van that one time and you didn't even hurt me that bad. So it's like, dude, you know what I'm saying?
Like, you're all good.
Yeah. Speaking of like hurting people and everything, like a few years ago, you did a split with this band called McCafferty.
Oh, yeah.
Are you down to talk about like any of that or any like interactions that occurred around that? McCafferty just becomes more interesting with time as things just like become more and more of a train wreck, you know? So
yeah, I think the trash fire just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's somehow just keeps it's still burning, you know. It's just still this fascinating, weird trash fire. I guess not to deliberate on it too much, but like that split just kind of came and went, and it just kind of happened for us. It was very, very much so just like a blip in time for us, and we were like, just going, you know, we're like, sure, let's just do this. I don't know. It like the idea came up, and we're like, honestly, we weren't initially down like at all. But then I don't know. Then we were just kind of like thinking about. We're like, well, we could, you know, it would be wouldn't be a bad idea for us to just like it was a chance for us to release 2 new songs, and we were like, yeah, sure, why the hell not? And ultimately did that, and I mean, they released their follow-up album to that like 2 weeks later. It's like we put out the split, and then it didn't even get to like breathe at all, you know? So it's like that kind of sucked. It was like, okay, here's the split. Okay, here's the new album. You know, it's like, okay, guys, I guess we'll just go fuck ourselves.
Was that Thanks Sorry Sure? Was that like the EP they put out, or
no? That was Yarn. They put out.
Shoot, dude! I thought that was in 2017.
Yeah.
It's more recent than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, they put out. We put out the split, and then they put out Yarn literally right after, and I was like, oh, okay,
that was in the spring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, word. Like literally 2 weeks later, Yarn came out. I was like, word. Okay. I guess this split is done, and but yeah, I don't know. It just kind of came and went. And since then, we've split our songs off of the split on Spotify, and we're not making any, you know, physical records of it. I would ideally like to just reissue our songs.
That would be really cool, dude.
Yeah,
those are a couple of great songs, you know, like
yeah,
it
kind of really sucks that they're you know, they have that connotation that they're on a split with that band. I mean, just being real about it, it's like, I don't know, I don't really in looking back on everything with Heart Attack Man, I view everything kind of, it's like everything in life is a learning experience, and I don't necessarily have regrets, but I guess the closest thing that I would quantify to being a regret would be doing that split with that band on that label, I guess. I mean, if we had the chance to like go back and do things differently, I don't know. If I knew how things would play out, I wouldn't necessarily be too thrilled about doing it.
Yeah. But that's the thing,
real.
man. You couldn't have known that would happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm just like kind of like, okay, well, learn what we can, move forward, and don't do that again.
Definitely, man. Like,
yeah.
As far as Heart Attack Man goes, would you be able to tell me kind of like, I don't know how to word this, but like the journey to Heart Attack Man? Because I know you played in some really, really cool bands prior to Heart Attack Man. So kind of like what were you doing before and kind of how did you arrive at Heart Attack?
So the band, my main band that I was doing before was a band called Ages. And that was from like the very end of high school for me through college, through like the first couple years of college. And we toured when we could, like on school breaks and stuff, because I was the oldest in the band, I think. But it was like we just kind of played sort of melodic hardcore stuff, like we were a band from like 2010, I think, or late 2009 maybe, till like 2000, very beginning of 2014, I think, because I remember there was a little bit of overlap from when Heart Attack Man had started and before Ages had broken up. But Ages was the first band that I like had traveled the country with, and we did everything, like we booked all of our tours ourselves and everything. It was kind of a train wreck because I booked everything and I'm not a booking agent, but things falling apart left and right, and that was just for me personally, just a very, very difficult time in my life, mentally, and just things going on. So like I was in no real place to be like booking shows necessarily and booking tours. But we released a couple EPs and various singles and songs. We released our first EP. I guess I don't really know if it was ever like I don't know whether it was a full length or an EP, but we released our first actual release, and then when we released it on vinyl, we recorded 3 more songs and did those on like the B-side. All the songs are like really short and fast. So like we did that was the band that like, and I'd been in bands before that, like in high school and everything, but that was the first band where I like really started making some of the connections that I've kind of carried over into this period of my life, and the first band where I like saw the whole country and whatnot, and really, really just kind of learned a lot about music and about myself. So we did that, and there are plenty of people that I met through that band that I still know today, and that I met a lot of bands that we had played with back then. It's like I've maintained relations with and everything, and it's like been cool to see how much everything has kind of progressed and transformed in terms of the scene from then till now. It's not totally the same scene, and everything is like totally different now, I feel, but like there's still some sense of familiarity in some regards. But basically I was playing in that band. We toured a little, not like full time or anything, but we toured when we could. And towards the end of that band, I had started thinking, I was like, you know what, like I was doing a lot in terms of like, booking our tours and like getting things done on the behind the scenes things, but I wasn't really writing that much. I played bass and did vocals in that band, but I only wrote a couple songs for that band. So I was just kind of like there playing along and everything. And doing my part and helping, but like wasn't really contributing a ton to the songwriting itself. So towards the end, I was like, I really want to just like do something where I felt like I was kind of stagnating, and I was like, I want to do something where I'm actually writing, and where I am, just, I mean, at first, Heart Attack Man was just me. It's like I was just recording guitar, bass, drums, and singing. And our first demo and our first EP, Acid Rain, those were just me. And so like it initially started as just a solo venture, and I didn't plan on playing shows at first. And I was like, I just want to have some kind of outlet where I can write, where I can be in control, where I'm like actually writing the songs. And that's that, and just be able to release music. And I wanted to do something that was very different from what I'd done before. I was like, I gotta switch it up. I was like, I've grown up liking all different kinds of music, and I really, really loved what we were doing with Ages. But I was like, I want to do something that's like totally different. And my initial big influences, like locally and within the scene, I guess, the Sidekicks, they were like a huge influence for me starting out. I was like, I want to do a band that's like it still has punk roots and everything, but is like very melodic and very focused on songwriting, and like more kind of branching into like, I don't know, alternative rock, if you will, not as much like the melodic hardcore side of things. Or I wanted to do something that was a bit catchier, slower, all that. And so Sidekicks were a big influence for me. This band Sundials from Virginia, they were a big influence. This band from Columbus called Delay, they had been around for a long time before, like, I grew up listening to that band. They were a big influence. So a lot more melodic and slower influences there. I was like, I just want to do something that, well, the thing is, I also, one of my favorite bands growing up, my mom raised me on Sugar Ray. So I always appreciated Sugar Ray and had like a deep appreciation for like really, really catchy hooks. So I wanted to do something that was like kind of a mix of all those things, like slower, more melodic, and just really infectiously catchy. So I just started as like a solo thing, just recording some stuff, and then eventually, I posted our demo, and people really, really liked it. Kind of locally, like, people were reacting very positively to it, and then very quickly, it was just kind of like, oh, we should play a show with this, like. And I talked to Adam's been drumming since the very beginning. He was the first person I talked to about it, and was Ages and his other band, he and Ty's other band, Two Handfuls, like, we had been playing together quite a bit around then, and I always loved watching Adam play, so I asked him if he wanted to play drums for it. And it was funny because I asked him, and he was like fucking wasted at this venue we were at, and he was like, oh yeah, dude, I'm down, sure, just, and he's like really he's really toned down. Like, he's never been like a problem drinker or anything, but he was just really wasted that night. And he's kind of chilled out since then with that. But like, it was funny because I asked him if he wanted to drum for this new project, and he said sure. So, but he's like, send me the songs. So I sent him the demo that I had recorded before I'd released it, and he said that he listened to it the next day, or he was checking it out, and he like barely remembered. And he was listening to it, and his roommate was like, yo, what's this? He's like, I think this dude like asked me if I wanted to be in this band. And he's like, well, this is awesome, you should totally do it. He's like, yeah, dude, like, this is really cool. But it was just funny. But yeah, Adam's been drumming since the beginning. We've kind of gone through some lineup changes, but it's been me and him since the beginning. And there's a little bit of an overlap from Ages and Heart Attack Man, where we were both a band. But when Ages broke up, I was just kind of like, okay, I think I'm just going to focus on Heart Attack Man, because people really liked us locally, and it was really cool because it was like the first show that we played. There were people there that were like singing along that like I didn't even know. I was like, who the hell are these people? Like, with Ages, our shows are really fun and very wild at times, but a lot of the time most of the times I knew everyone who was like going off for us, you know what I mean? So it's like, for things to be starting out with Heart Attack Man, as right out the gate, you know, people I didn't know were like at our shows singing along and everything. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, and it was just like a different scene in a sense, you know, less oriented in the hardcore scene. But it was just a very exciting and new thing. And yeah, I mean, we just kind of played locally for a while, established ourselves, and did some like small regional runs and played out of town and stuff when we could. But I was still finishing college then, and then when I finished college, that was actually like right when we released the Manson Family.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
So at that point, I was kind of like, okay, let's like take a stab at this and actually like, I don't know, try pursuing touring and being a band and stuff.
So when does Triple Crown come into the picture then?
That was right, like, I was still in college. They had our eyes on us since our EP, Acid Rain, and when we recorded the Manson Family, that's when they had decided, you know, they I guess pulled the trigger on wanting to get behind us and be involved. So it was kind of like a good timing of things, to where it was like we had started actually talking and formalizing an agreement with our record deal, like, as I was finishing up school. And then on my last day of classes for my undergrad was when we actually signed the contract. And you know, and then I graduated. I was like, okay, cool. That summer we did like our longest tour yet, which was like 3 weeks. And then from there on, it was just like kind of, you know, doing what we could when we could, and just really, if we were given an opportunity, we just took it, and just, you know, we're like, we got to get ourselves out there, just take these opportunities that we're given, and just make the most of it, and just put our best foot forward and keep grinding. And really, that's kind of that's kind of been our MO the whole time. It's just like, if life affords you any kind of opportunity like this, just take it and make the best of it, and, like, I don't know, learn what you can and just do your best. And so, like, really, it's been like I'd said before, like, seeming like no time has passed at all, but similarly these years are going by. It's like, I don't know, it's been really rewarding to kind of see the output of everything, being like, we've really just kind of stuck with it, and we've seen so many bands come and go, and like so many bands that, like, I don't know, kind of blow up overnight and then self-implode. And I don't know, it's just been kind of like a wild ride, seeing so much changing in a way, and like, but all happening very quickly in a sense. And we've just been kind of like steadily going at it and making the most of it. Really, just like, I don't know, it's nothing that we've done has felt like it's been too much all at once. Like, I feel like our rise, if you will, has been like very steady and very like easy to adjust to in a way. Like, there hasn't been any point where it's been like, oh shit, we just like blew up overnight and we can't handle this.
Totally, man. Yeah, because like, if you blow up fast, you fade out fast, you know? Not always, but that seems to be the rule, you know?
It's there are bands that are exceptions to that, obviously, and it's awesome when you're able to like see that happen. But sometimes it's just like, sometimes it's too much at once, and the pressure just like, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that maybe happened to bands like Modern Baseball, you know, not to say they like blew up super fast, but, you know, they just really started doing a lot at once and started getting like weirdly famous for the type of music they were playing. And I can imagine that was a lot. So
yeah, they were actually, Modern Baseball was actually like the first bigger band that I know we've talked about this, but like the first bigger band that sort of like, it was like a cosign, you know. They like really they fucked with us, and we became buddies with them, and had played with them in Cleveland before. And it was like, they were sort of the first bigger band that like really showed us love. And it was like really exciting seeing everything that was happening with them. And it was like each time they came back to Cleveland, it was like they were either, it's like pretty much every time they were like leveling up another venue and selling it out, you know?
Damn, dude.
So it was very fast.
So, like, if I remember right, did Jake help you record some of Heart Attack Man's music early in the day, or is that not right?
Ian actually recorded
Ian.
the Manson Family.
Got you. Okay, for sure. How was that? Was that pretty cool?
Yeah, it was. Oh man, it was cool, but it was so stressful because we were funding it ourselves and we did the whole thing in 6 days, and it was like, by comparison, we recorded Fake Blood in 2.5 weeks, so it was like, wow. We really, we were pushing like 20-hour recording days and barely sleeping at all, just really rushing it. When it comes down to it, we rushed it, and not that I'm like displeased, I again, it's like all a learning experience, and we kind of made the best with what we had and the time that we had. So I don't look back on it with regret or anything, but I'm like, it would have been like, it's just interesting to think like what we could have done if we were able to like afford more time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But all things considered, it was a positive experience, but it was very stressful.
Damn. I feel like there's a big difference between Fake Blood and the Manson Family. You can just tell that Fake Blood was just really thought out and kind of you chewed on it and kind of really like let it marinate in the crock pot and stuff. Like you can really tell there's a big difference.
I think that just comes with age too, just being, even just a couple years older. It's like, and experiencing some things, like I kind of felt like I was more in my groove with with Fake Blood than the Manson Family. Like just with like, I spent a lot of time writing everything for the Manson Family and sitting on the ideas and everything, but I feel like that skill was a bit more refined with Fake Blood, and I kind of knew Fake Blood to me feels like they both feel like cohesive albums to me, but I feel like Fake Blood was a bit more calculated.
Yeah, it feels very just Eric from Heart Attack Man, like just like the person I know you as today, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it was kind of I kind of came out of my shell a little bit more, and it feels like a little bit more accurate.
That was like the album that developed like your Twitter presence, I feel like, in a way.
It kind of was, yeah, because I don't know, with Manson Family, I at the beginning of the Manson Family, I was like really not on Twitter that much or really online that much at all, and I feel like since we've gotten I don't know, just like increasingly more active and touring more, it's like I've kind of naturally just, I don't know, just become more active online and everything too, though. But yeah, that being said, I feel like this new EP is even more so kind of coming out of my shell even more, and it's like we have some really I don't know, just like nothing that's like too jarring to where it's like, wait, what the hell is this? This doesn't sound like Heart Attack Man. Like I think everything still sounds like us, but it's a very different voicing of us, and a very refreshing voicing of us. It's different enough to where it's like, turn some heads and keep our fans interested in everything, but it's not too different that like there's still elements that are like you hear it and it's like, okay, this is still us, and it's still very catchy and engaging and stuff, and like people that already like us, I think would have, it's like they wouldn't not like the new stuff. It's just there's more there towards, it's not Fake Blood 2.0.
Yeah, which is good. That's, it'd kind of suck to do Fake Blood 2. Maybe one day, but definitely,
I think
put out a lot more albums first.
I think a lot of bands, it really just depends on the type of band, but like there's certain bands where it's like, they release the same type of album over and over again, and that's fine. And if they do it well, they do it well. It's like Slayer was a band forever, and they basically did that. They had some they had some moments where they were doing different stuff, but there are bands that release the same album over and over again, and it's fine. Like it works perfectly. I wouldn't want to hear Slayer transforming into a deathcore band. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
so there are some bands that I think can do that and it makes sense, but there are some bands also where that works to their detriment, where it's like, okay, like you're doing the same album over and over again, and I don't know, it's kind of like we've heard this before and we don't need to hear it again.
Right. And then there's those bands that like they have one successful pop punk, emo, or alternative album and it, you know, does them pretty well. And then immediately they're like, dude, let's just go like full pop. Like I feel like that's the downfall of a lot of bands these days, dude.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. or they're like, let's go like complete like cool emo, or not emo, cool indie band.
Yes.
Like,
dude, one of the two every time.
it's like the fork in the road, you know, it's like you either go full pop or you go like, or you become self-aware and cool.
Yeah.
And either way you're running away from what's already working. And rather than like building on it in a way that like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna like sit back and bands can do whatever they want. They can take control of their destiny, their trajectory, whatever, you know, it's their band. But I don't know. It's like, I see a lot of times where it's like a band does something really, really cool. And it's like, okay, this is sick. Why did you like completely abandon this and run away from something that was already working so well and your fan base that was like loving it? I don't know. I mean, it's like you do what you want, but like you don't have to run away from that. Like you can take all of that and you can kind of like, you can incorporate new elements and still build off of something that's like working already. I don't know.
It's just frustrating.
I feel like that's what we're kind of doing. It's like we know what works for us and we're just adding new things to it and not running away from it at all.
So this isn't going to be like a pop album then?
Oh, absolutely not. No. It's if anything, it's running away from that, I guess. But we're not. Yeah, I mean, we're not going full pop. I'd say our song Leap Year is like the most pop punk that we get with it, and it's
on there?
What's that?
Is that song on this EP that's coming out?
Yeah.
Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, so like that's
I've already heard that one, dude.
Yeah, you've heard that one.
That's gonna be your new like most famous song, by the way. But
I think that, or I'm really, really hyped on Pitch Black, and I know I've sent you that one too.
Dude, yes.
So it's like I think those two are kind of like the quote unquote pop punk bangers, but like the rest of it is like the rest of the EP is not that like at all. You know, it's like we have our heaviest moments for sure, and it's kind of like I in talking about it with people, it's like I kind of think like our EP, the arrangement of songs, it like barely makes sense together in a way. Where it's like if you hear our heaviest moment and like our catchiest moments on it, it's like, okay, these don't belong on the same release at all. But I think the track listing for this EP is especially crucial because it like kind of makes it all make sense together. It's kind of linear in that sense. It's not. I mean, for me, just for it all to make sense in my head, that is where that is kind of the glue that like makes it make sense to me, is sort of the arrangement of it all. And there are things that there are elements that I incorporated on, like every song, for example, I use certain guitar effects where I was like, okay, I want this to sonically kind of blend it all together, and like there's this recurring thing. Like what I have this Boss chorus ensemble pedal, and what I did, it's like I'd used it a little bit before on like leads and stuff to kind of give it a different voicing, but like with this EP I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna crank every knob on this pedal and just make it sound really obnoxious. And that's what you hear at like the beginning of Leap Year. It's like that really just kind of like that really wild sort of sounding chorusy lead, but like I was doing that on, I incorporated a fully cranked chorus ensemble into every song. And really a big reason why I wanted to do that was actually because of Korn, like incorporating more of a nu metal influence, ironically enough.
Yeah, dude, that opening lead on Leap Year is just one of the, like my favorite things I've heard in a long time. Like, did that kind of come to you pretty fast, or is that something you like developed and refined over time?
That song in particular.
Yeah, like just the opening riff and like all this shit.
The opening riff and that chorus melody, I kind of thought of all at once. Like I thought of the chorus melody, and the lyrics for that. Like I thought of that first, and I put the chords under it, and I was like, okay, I want to have like some kind of cool lead with it, and the lead came after. But I actually had the song originally. The song originally was in a different key, and then I worked it to a different key, transposed it, and then I was like, okay, I think this would be better for the song overall. And then I just kind of like fleshed out the rest of it, wrote the verses, all that, and then actually the bridge part of it. It's funny. I'm talking about this, and it's not even out yet. But like,
yeah.
but like, there's this bridge part of the song that I refer to as the Slayer beat part, because it's like this halftime sort of riding, like breakdown type of thing that I was just like,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, when we were jamming it, I was sort of figuring things out with Adam, and I was like, "Can you try this?" And I was like, try like a halftime sort of beat on the hi-hats, and he did, and then I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But then he was like, wait, hold on, and then he started doing it on the ride cymbal and like going full Slayer with it, and I was like, oh, dude, that's it. He's like, yeah, dude, I think this will fill it out nicely. I was like, yeah, no, you're right. So like, that part actually came last. And the melody that I had at the bridge for it was actually something that was originally for the starting of a different song, but then I realized that when I transposed it to the key of Leap Year, it actually worked perfectly and accomplished exactly what I wanted to do with that bridge. And then I don't know, like it was all kind of like a puzzle of a song, like fitting different pieces together that I had from different ideas, but the overall lead idea of that came after the melody, I guess.
Okay, for sure.
There's really no set process to when I'm writing a song. I'm not like, okay, here's where I'm like, I always start here and then I go here and then here. It's like it just kind of, there's no standardized method.
There we go.
We all good?
Yeah, we're good, man.
Okay.
Cool. Where did we leave off?
I was just saying that I guess coming up with ideas has gotten easier for me, because like, we have this EP that we're sitting on, and I'm already like pretty deep into writing for our next album.
Yeah, I know. I think it was earlier in 2020, maybe you sent me kind of like a full album of some songs that I think are actually going to be on this EP, and then maybe some on the album and stuff like that. Right. But dude, everything you sent me was so fire, bro.
Dude, I think I sent you what Adam and I had done at the first session. And yeah, it's like, yeah, we have the EP, and then there's like, a couple other songs, and that we just are kind of we might just release as singles or something, and then we had a started on, but I didn't record vocals to. I have completely mapped out. Yeah, I guess. But instrumentally, it's all there, and I'm like really done. I guess things of like two and a half other songs, I guess.
Okay, for sure.
But yeah.
Is the song that's titled "Cool to Me"? Is that going to be on the Thoughts and Prayers album?
Yeah, that one. I'm eager to release that. I think it'll be. It's very strange, musically. Like that opening riff is just like nonsense.
Yeah.
And
how do you think people are gonna feel about the song?
I think it's very straightforward, very blunt. I think that there will be people, as is with anything that we do, or anything I do on the internet, anything we do in general. I think there will be people that really like it, and there will be people that really don't like it. And I think that I guess we'll just see how it plays out. I think if there are people, there were people that did not like our song "Cut My Losses" and Notes App Apology, sort of the more blunt, very, very direct, very just, I don't know, I guess kind of talking about touchy subject material. People that didn't like those songs will really not like Cool to me. But I think on the flip side, there will be people that really need to hear that, and I think what the objective with the song is to really just kind of talk about, I guess, like this sort of like moral inconsistency that I notice with people, where it's like you have people that are your friends or acquaintances of yours that are like good people, but like have this sort of lapse in judgment, or a lapse, like a seemingly selective judgment on like certain things, where it's like, okay, these are people that are like good people and that don't want to like I don't know, I guess more or less associate with people that do really questionable things, but like it's just this inconsistency I've noticed where people are like, oh, it sucks, but like he's always been cool to me, that's kind of like been the heart of the song, is just like people where it's like, okay, yeah, okay, that, like, it's not about you though, like we're talking about something that isn't about, it's like, get out of your own head, and like, you can talk about these kinds of things and not have it all be so your it's like your personal experiences, your positive personal experiences with someone don't overwrite everything that they do.
Right. And like, I'm sure that this song is probably just a song just in general about that type of stuff, but
yeah,
if you were to be 100%, is there someone that comes to mind when you like hear it? Or like, I know it's not about anyone, but is there like a person that comes to mind, or like a face or anything like that? You don't have to say it.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, it was definitely, it was inspired by interactions I've had with people where I've been talking about, a specific person, and it was like just time and time again of being like, oh damn, that sucks, but he's always been cool to me. It's like, okay, like word, I guess I don't know, like doesn't exactly make sense, but it's not like I'm like, oh, okay, this person is sketchy, like stop talking to them right now and write them off forever. It's like, I realize that things are a lot more nuanced than that sometimes, and sometimes, people, for better for worse, not always, they don't always have great reasons, but sometimes people have their reasons for still associating with certain people, whether it's by choice, or if they're like somehow legally involved with someone, or some kind of business thing. I don't know. Sometimes it's more complicated than that, and I recognize that. But I mean, I'm talking about just like when people judge other people for associating with sketchy people, but then in turn associate with sketchy people themselves. It's like, it's just kind of hypocritical.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. It's just, I was just feeling some type of way when I was writing it, and it just came out. And that's just kind of how it happens. Like, that's Cut My Losses just poured right out of my head. So it was just kind of like that. Yeah, dude.
I feel like Cut My Losses just kind of gets better with time. It's like wine. It's
Thank you.
A song that I'm like, damn, dude. It just becomes more and more just, I don't know if I'd say relevant in my life, but just like, I just like see that shit like more and more, you know what I mean? Just people misusing.
I mean, it's just part of, it's just a part of growing up. Unfortunately for a lot of people, it's just a part of growing up, and since we've released the song, I've just realized, unfortunately, it's a lot more common than it is, where people have told me, they've been through that exact type of situation before. And I'm like, I'm sorry that you were like put through that. And I wish that no one could relate to that. You know what I mean? When I wrote it, I didn't think it would be nearly as relatable as it was, but here we are. And it's like, I've had that conversation with so many people where they're like, I've been put through that exact type of situation. I'm like, damn, like, I'm sorry. So I don't know. I think, unfortunately, that things like that happen, and sometimes part of growing up is, it's not like I'm like, oh, it's just normal. Like, growing up, being manipulated and emotionally abused is just a part of growing up. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, like, kind of deciphering certain relationships and coming to the realization that, like, things aren't what they're cut out to be. And it's like having things get flipped on their heads sometimes is more of a part of growing up, where it's kind of like, oh damn, like this is not what it used to be to me. And sometimes that happens by way of these really, really uncomfortable realizations that's like, shit, I'm being like hardcore manipulated or something. So I don't know, I think for a lot of people, some things like that, if that happens, it's like you just learn from that. And it's like, just do your best to not fuck with people like that. Or if you get a hunch about someone acting a certain way, you'd be like, oh, I've been here before, I've seen this shit before, like I'm not going down that path again. I'm not gonna let someone in like that again.
Yeah, you get better at like perceiving and kind of just judging and feeling out someone's true character.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, growing up, it's like, the amount of red flags I've ignored is staggering. It's staggering, man. It's like I've ignored so many red flags, and it's like there's so many times where I've just normalized completely bad behavior, like shit with people where I'm like, this is really fucked up, but like I'd normalized so much with people because I'd never experienced it before. And now it's like this, going through that again and seeing that you're a bit more wise to the game, if you will, and you're like, okay, I've seen this before, I know how this can end, and I'm not going to go down that path again.
Yeah, and I think just being around good people and having really, really good supportive friends also kind of helps you develop that more keen judge of character, you know what I mean? Because you can see what great people are like, and then when it's not the case, it's like very obvious, Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, like there are people like just on Twitter that like I just see what they're saying and like their online presence. I guess I'm kind of specifically talking about bands and band members, but just like right away, I'm kind of just like getting like senses that I'm like, I think I like this person. There's something going on here. It's like I'm open to like that not being true, but like I try to accept my feelings for what they are too,
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can like take all these things in consideration, keep it in the back of your head and everything, and like not let that completely dictate how, it's like you can still keep these things in mind, be like, okay, I've noted this, but but similarly not be like, okay, I'm just gonna outright be an asshole to this person just because of like a hunch or a premonition or something, like just because I have like because of the vibes, like I'm not gonna just like, oh, your vibes are weird, I'm gonna be an asshole to you.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
No, I mean, I'm still gonna be chill, but like I don't know, like don't lie to yourself and pretend like you don't have some strange gut feeling about something, because it's like you shouldn't live your life just judging everything off of your gut feelings. But it's also like, I mean, you can't go through life ignoring how you're feeling.
Right. Yeah, and it's like
finding the balance of like you don't want to lie to yourself, but you don't also want to just wall yourself off for no real reason.
Definitely, man. And like you said, that's just something that comes with time and age. And as I get older, I find that, I get better at that balance, but it's something you're just always working on, especially as you get older,
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of pivoting away from that stuff, I'm really interested in the merch setup you guys got going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool, man, the way you guys are running it right now.
It's been nice. I mean, a good chunk of 2020 was kind of us figuring things out and kind of troubleshooting a lot of things. Like for a good amount of last year, we didn't really have merch online, but like we were kind of figuring things out and navigating exactly how we want to go about things. But I mean, really for us, in the past like 4 years where, we've past 4 years where we've been kind of embarking on being a band more professionally and pursuing things in that sense. It's like one of the things that we did early on was we were working with third-party merch companies and whatnot, third-party fulfillment, all that, and we were like, okay, this is cool. We don't have to like worry about anything. It's very we just kind of do our thing, and that's that. And we'll have merch online, but we don't really need to be the ones actually doing that. And then as time has gone on, we're like, we've realized that we like doing those kinds of things, and there were things that were like, we want to like take these things upon ourselves, just to have more control over something. And also just because it's like something, as once you get a system situated with fulfillment that works for you and is your most effectively streamlined system of fulfillment, it's like you just could end up saving so much money in the long run just by doing rather than outsourcing that one job. It's like you can, I don't know, just keeping something as small as that in-house can really go a long way. And that our eyes were kind of opened up to that, honestly, because of Real Friends.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Because they they were like doing all their fulfillment and stuff, and very hands-on with that. They weren't even the ones printing all of it. You know what I mean? Like, they were just doing the fulfillment and saving a ton of money, and like really just going about everything in a very, very cost-effective manner. And that was really eye-opening for us. We're like, damn, here's a band that's like crushing it in our sort of realm of the scene, and they're doing this themselves, but going about it super like, they have like a very super legitimate setup with it, and they're going about it very professionally, and it's doing wonders for them. So we were kind of like, what if we did that, but we took it one step further, where we also printed everything? So like, I mean, really, like, shout out to Real Friends for like inspiring us to go even further with that. It's not like, we're like, oh, Real Friends created DIY, but but like, I guess to be doing it at the capacity that they were doing at it, we were kind of like, oh damn, like we could, I don't know, like we can go about this very professionally, and it doesn't have to just be like me sitting on my couch in my underwear, putting shirts into bags and like writing out every address. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I mean, I've done that, like,
for sure.
for years and years and years, but it's like, it was nice to be able to kind of like have, I don't know, just to be like, oh damn, we can really kind of buckle down and like situate a very effective, streamlined system for us that works and is like very smooth. And we can all, like, Adam has worked in screen printing forever. Like, he had done it for other companies for like combined over a decade. And then he was just eventually like, dude, like, he knows how much they charge for, 50 shirts, 100 shirts, whatever. He's like, dude, I can do this and like print for other bands and businesses and stuff, whatever, and then do all of our stuff. He's like, he knew how much, like, he would do an hour of work, crank out an entire order for a company he was working for. He's like, sweet, I just made like $10 or whatever, and they just made like 10 times that, or more. Like, it's just like, this is stupid. Like, I can be doing this myself and just going so much further with it. So like, really where that all kind of started was like, he and our buddy Wayne, they were talking about starting their own screen printer operation together, but Adam was still actually working at a chain record store here called The Exchange that was just paying him horribly. It's a chain record store. Like, he was working so much there and getting paid so little, and it was just really wearing him thin. And we were on a tour, and he was like just venting to us about how much he hated his job and how much he wanted to, like, he's like, I want to start screen printing with Wayne, but we haven't officially started yet, blah 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 blah. And we're like, dude, just like, we were getting breakfast in Austin, Texas. I'll never forget it, because we were at this table and we were like, dude, just quit your job and just do it. Like, just like, go for it. Like, why not just quit your job and go all out with it and try? Like, if you don't try, you're going to regret not trying, and you're just going to get more bogged down by this shitty job that isn't paying you well, and like you're working just making just enough to survive and scraping by and everything, and you're fucking miserable. Like, he was the amount of change that I've seen in Adam just over the past couple of years has been like incredible, just with how much I guess like more chill he is now, just in a better mood overall. And he's just like, I can tell that he's just mentally doing so much better being his own boss and everything. But so like we were getting breakfast in Austin, Texas, and we're like, dude, just quit your job. And he's like, oh no, I can't just quit. We're like, call them right now and just quit. Like, just do it. Just go, just start screen printing. Like, you and Wayne are good at it, and you know enough people that will need stuff printed that like you guys will succeed doing this if you just give everything to it and trust the process and just do it. Like, you guys will be fine, and we can help in any way. And so, so then he's like, okay, you know, he's like thinking about it. And I was like, dude, I'm not leaving this restaurant until you call and quit your job. He's like, ah, fuck, okay, I'm gonna do it. So he called, and he's like, okay, I didn't just outright quit. I'm gonna go back and work 2 more days, and then I'm done. I'm like, okay, cool. There's an end in sight, and you and Wayne can like just go for this and start printing, and just really just hustle and go full time with it, and just fucking do it. And so it's like he did, and it's really, really paid off for him, because they're crushing it now. And very quickly, they had to move out of Wayne's basement into our storefront now, and it's like, you know, and they're kind of navigating as they go. This is like, I was at the shop when they had their tax guy come over, and they're like, we don't know fucking anything about taxes, and they got to do all that and be legit about it. You know, it's all a learning process, and they're figuring it out step by step, but like they're fucking doing it, and like they're crushing it. They're staying busy, and it's like, it's just been really awesome to see. It's like that has come of this, and it's become something that's, you know, more than just the band. It's not like he's only printing merch for us. So, but it's like we're able to kind of do whatever the hell we want merch wise in terms of printing, you know, t-shirts and whatnot. But but we as for our system, it's like, you know, we print all of our t-shirts and all that, and the hockey jerseys that we did not too long ago, like he did those. We do all of our fulfillment. The only thing that we do right now that is not handled, the only things that we do that aren't handled in-house is like our beanies, which is like a huge thing for us, because that's kind of like our staple merch piece. But a shop that we're friends with, Edgeman Printing in Michigan, they handle our embroidery. So they do that, and then when we do knives, we source a third party for laser engraving. So
nice.
Really, I mean, you know, we try to keep it as in-house as we can, but naturally, you know, there are things that we're not able to do, or things that like people, you know, someone could do better and more effectively. So it's like with embroidery, you know, we outsource that, and but all in all, we keep it as in-house as we can and get everything and ship it out, all that. And it's been really, really fun just kind of navigating that and finding ways to make it all work more effectively, and just coming up with more cool ideas.
Yeah, dude, it's really crazy, because I've done a little bit of like merch stuff throughout my life, and it's crazy how much more you can make with specifically garments, shirts, and stuff if you literally are just doing everything yourself. Profit margins just like get more and more ridiculous, like the more you're willing to like do it yourself, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it can really go a long way, and it really is like whatever you make of it. And I think that that's a valuable thing, like moving forward, as we were talking about earlier with people, you know, on YouTube and just like content creation in general. It doesn't have to be like that realm of things. Doesn't, like, you can do whatever. It's like, it doesn't have to be super professional, but like you can make it professional. Totally. It's really what you make of it, and I think that's kind of filtering outwards into every realm. It's like really all of this is whatever you make of it, and it's like most anything that you can do as a band, you're able to do yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, granted, you know, it's not like every band's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna buy this incredibly complex and this incredibly complex machinery to press my own vinyl records, but like, you get what I mean. You know, it's like you're not gonna be able to do literally every task yourself, but like There, I think moving forward, just the music industry, I think, is just headed towards a more a place that where it's going to be dictated more by I don't know what it is you make for yourself. I feel like now more than ever, it's more viable to be like an independent artist,
For
and
sure.
it's really what you make of it. It's about carving out your own niche and your own place in the world of music, and just carving out your own place and going all out with it. And I don't know, just like I feel like a lot of bands will try to like spread themselves super thin and try to appeal to like everyone, and and it sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends. But like
Hey, cut off for just a second. Go right ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's nice and clear, man.
Okay, yeah. No, I was it's just nice to see. I don't know. I think it's really cool when you see a band or a group or an artist or anyone that's like just staying in their lane and like, but absolutely lane. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And like a huge inspiration for us, honestly, is Insane Clown Posse, because I mean they're the absolute testament to just being completely, just self-made, just doing their own thing, creating their own fucking subculture. It's like they're the kings of that. You know what I mean? It's like they are the gold standard of a group that has just completely succeeded and really just themselves and crushing it like more than ever now. I feel like there's been like a huge resurgence of ICP. It's
Dude,
like
I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's like, and they're crushing it on TikTok too. You know what I mean? It's like that's a whole nother thing. It's like bands that like over TikTok, and it's kind of becoming like this new, not like brand new, but like it's for a lot of bands, it's like this new frontier where they're like, oh, I have to figure out how to do TikTok. And I don't know. It's another side of the game, if you will. And it's just like some people are really, there's some bands that are really good at it, and some bands that look at it. But
so would you say it's more important to kind of know your lane and know your demographic and stick closer to that, as opposed to just trying to blow up as big as possible and just appeal to everyone?
I don't know. I don't know everything, obviously, and I'm not gonna like.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit back and be like, oh yeah, I'm the guru of the music industry. I know everything that does and doesn't work. I don't know. I think for me that I would rather do the former of like, just kind of knowing what works for us, knowing where we succeed, and like really focusing there and crushing hard and like doing like obviously I want to like branch out, and like I would love to. The areas where I would want to branch out would come more so with like doing a different kind of tour, like doing a unique collaboration with a band or an artist, and like getting outside of our typical realm of things with that, like touring and collaborations and stuff. But like as for, I don't know, just like us and what works for us and sonically and everything, I don't know. I want to incorporate new influences into our sound and everything, but I don't want to be that band where it's like you don't know what they're going for at all, because it just all gets lost because you're like, oh, they don't know what they want to do, so they're trying everything. It's like, I don't want to be that band, but I do also want to finding that balance of incorporating new influences without losing sight of your identity as a band and the songwriting aspects and principles that work for you and are unique, that sort of make you who you are. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's all kind of, everything's all just about balancing everything. It's all just a balancing act. It's a one giant tightrope.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, so does a band, like, for example, let's just say, not necessarily like in our scene, but kind of in our scene, like a band like Code Orange, do you feel like they've struck a good balance with that, or are they more like a band that's like, damn, I don't know what they're gonna do next, they're always switching around? Like, how do you feel about them?
I have like it's like I feel like I could never have enough good things to say about Code Orange, and I'm totally biased because I grew up with them. They were a band that I had met back in the day with Ages, and you know, I to see where that band has gone and what they've done has been so fucking inspiring. And but for me, as a biased perspective on that, I don't really like. I think everything that they've done has made sense to me, where I'm like, okay, they're doing something that's totally different from what, you know, they started out doing, but it all makes sense to me. I'm like, it is so awesome to see them crushing it as hard as they are, and they're like on top, you know, with just succeeding so well in metal and everything. But to me, everything with them kind of makes sense, and I feel like they've balanced it all really well. They're also a band that they do all their own fulfillment, and I think have also, like, they do a good job of keeping maintaining control where they want to, and being very hands-on about things. I think they're a band that, yeah, I think they have stuck to their overall vision and have incorporated a lot of new elements in a way, but for me, it all it still resonates as genuinely as it did when I first met them. Because like I've known that band since like 2009, I think. 2000, like end of 2009, I think was, or no, yeah, I think like fall of 2009 or so. Like I've known them for a long fucking time, and it's like they've always been on another level.
Yeah, I remember they were Code Orange kids, and then, you know, they grew up and everything, you know.
Yeah, but it's like I think they are a band that has they have really maintained. I don't know. I guess I don't know. Outside looking in, to me, as just genuinely as a fan of the band, like I think they've balanced everything super well, and I'm plenty of people that'll disagree with me on that. You know, people that just like their old stuff, like when they were Code Orange kids, first album, all that. I know plenty of people that kind of checked out when they released I Am King. But for me, that was when
fire though. What the heck?
Yeah. No, I mean, but there are people that are just like, oh, I liked it when it was like, you know, faster and more chaotic and stuff. I'm like, I get that. I'm like, I think that their first album's awesome, and they really succeeded in doing that. But when they incorporated more of a metalcore influence, I was like, damn, this is fucking cool. Like that, yeah, I feel like they're responsible for like where a lot of hardcore and metalcore has gone in the past like 5 years. You know what I mean? It's like they've been kind of tastemakers in that realm, where it's like doing a lot of things, and then you have a ton of bands that try to emulate that or do something very similar but incorporating a different influence. And it's like, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like they've kind of like blazed a big part of that trail.
Yeah, I definitely think so, man. And I remember on I Am King, they have this song, I think it's called Dreams and Inertia. I remember it's just like one of their really, like, it's almost kind of shoegazy, and I was like, shit, dude, they're really doing something cool. Like, I'm excited to see like where they're gonna kind of take all this, you know, experimental side, you know, onto their next album. And Forever was, you know, really sick. So
Forever was awesome. Like I don't know, I love everything they've done. That band can like kind of do no wrong in my eyes.
That's cool. We have that relationship with them.
I'm a firm believer.
Have you ever gotten a tour with them or no?
No, we've never done. So let me think. No, yeah, we've never toured with them. Ages, like back in the day, Ages did like a weekend tour with Adventures, but like we've played. Ages had played with Code Orange kids a bunch, but like we never toured together or anything. That'd be a fucking dream tour.
Dude,
I would love that. Heart Attack Man and Code Orange, it would not really make any sense musically, but I would be 1,000%. That's a dream tour for me. That would just be like so sick.
Yeah, dude, might as well throw Adventures on there since most of the members.
Oh my god!
Anyway, you know? That's such a good band, dude. They got done dirty, dude. They should be one of the biggest bands right now, I swear.
I was revisiting them a few months ago, and it like still holds up. That band's like, I feel like every project they've done has been awesome.
Yeah, dude. I can't say that about many other like musicians or acts. So
yeah, for sure.
Very good. Just as far as touring goes, man, like what's your experience been like overall? are you the type of person that enjoys being out on the road and touring constantly, or do you kind of like to be more at home, or do you try to strike like a balance? Like, what type of guy are you when it comes to touring?
I feel like I've struck a balance because, you know, when I'm home, it's like I have a very stable situation overall. Like I've been able to miraculously have been able to hold down the same job for like I'm going on my 8th season at my job where I wash windows and power wash houses, but
Wow.
it's like I've done that for a long time now, and my boss has been very like supportive with that and very understanding of me. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for 6 weeks. He's like, okay, that like kind of sucks, but whatever.
Yeah.
But like, you know, we've he's been very supportive. I've been able like that's the thing is like if we were touring, if we toured in 2020 and if we were touring this year, like we could be full time with the band. It's like we're at that point where it's like things have been going really well, and it's like if we were touring, we could be full time with it, and I wouldn't like, I guess, need to be working
Mm.
while I was home. But it's like I don't know. For everything that he's done for me and how understanding and supportive he's been, and plus, I mean, knowing what other people like, there are other companies, I guess our competition, if you will, knowing what they pay their employees versus what my boss pays me. It's like he pays me a lot more than other people doing the same job elsewhere, and it's like I'm very thankful for that. So I mean, it's like I feel fortunate to have like a genuinely positive work relationship with my boss, and he's been very supportive. So it's like in that sense, I do have like a balance where it's like when I'm home, I have a job where there's always work to be done with that, and I'm in the off season right now, but it's like I've established a balance of like having, you know, some sort of roots at home and everything, but I love touring more than anything. It's like the past 4 years, it's been such a wild ride and such a rewarding ride, and it's been so fun. And I mean, I don't know. It's like I love being out on tour, but when I'm home for too long, I'm kind of like, okay, when are we going back? I get kind of restless. So I mean, like being home all of last year, it kind of has been fucking with me in a sense. I'm like so eager to get back out. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah, I guess overall, I'd say I have an overall balance. It's not like I've had to get a different job between every tour,
That's really cool, man. That's
but
really
yeah, I
cool.
mean, I love being on tour. I know there are plenty of bands where they don't necessarily like touring isn't bands that just don't tour that much, or when they do tour, they don't go out for that long. I don't know. It's like I
Mhm.
understand it. I mean, it's a grind and it's like very tiring, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, and like, is it true what people say about touring? Is it like virtually impossible to make money from touring, or is it just all about how you do it? And just like, I know there are so many variables, but if you
Oh,
could just talk
it's
about that a little
every.
bit.
I think everything's just about how you go about it. Because I mean, it's like I don't know. I mean, if you're smart with your money and like, um, I don't know. It really just kind of comes down to like there's give and take with everything. I mean, if you're actually getting like a decent hotel room every night, and you're not there's not, you know, enough money to come in just justifying that every single night, it's like yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose money. But it's like
Mhm.
if you have friends all over the country that are willing to let you sleep on their couch or something, and you're fine with doing that, it's like uh there it's really about what how you want to go about it, and how so many variables of like how much money's actually coming in versus what you're willing to do, I guess. Because I mean, like there have been I guess we're like fortunate in the sense that like whenever we've gone out on tour, we've never like come back and lost our ass money wise. Like we've
Mhm.
always, I think at we've always at least broken even. Um, so we've been really lucky in that sense. But like it's I don't know. It's for a lot of bands and a lot of artists. That's where that's where all the money is. It's just in touring. You know what I mean? So it's like it really just depends.
Yeah, because it's crazy. You could like, play a show at, I don't know, like Chain Reaction or something and like sell 50 shirts. And it's like, damn, dude, you wouldn't have sold 50 shirts if you would have just, done nothing that night. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And obviously merch is such a big factor of that too. I mean, and then, vehicle situation, if you're bringing a ton of merch and you got to haul a trailer, it's like all these things add up and there's so many variables and certain things that are costing you. But it's all just, again, it's all a balancing act and figuring out the most cost effective way to do everything while, I don't know, like, while simultaneously just like making practical decisions when you're actually out.
Right. Like, so when it comes to touring, what's something that you shouldn't like cheap out on or cut corners? Like how there's stuff in life. It's, like you can buy the cheaper can of beans, but it's like, it's good to have nicer paper towels. Is there anything like that for touring?
Let me think. I'd say like, I feel like I'm kind of contradicting myself in a sense because I was just talking about like, cutting corners on getting a hotel or something. But I mean, like, I guess like something to maybe not even not saying that you have to be like balling out on a hotel every day, but like in my experience, at the very least, I don't think that you should cut corners with just, I guess, personal comfort in a sense, because like whether that means like if you're actually like getting a hotel every night or something, or if you're just like, okay, I'm gonna get like a back roller, back massager thing, and like a nice neck pillow or something, like just little things like that to like it goes a long way just investing in being comfortable and being able to have any sort of feeling of like, okay, it's nice to have a feeling of there being some sort of home base and having something that is like reminiscent of like just like a home base sort of homey type of situation. And when we're able to have a good system of like, okay, here's where everything goes in the van, and here are like our sort of spots, just in terms of like for this ride or something. If we're all gonna like, we don't do our drives where we're all just sitting like side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Like we like to like actually relax and spread out and everything. So I guess it could mean different things, but ultimately I think that it's important to like invest in actually being able to be comfortable.
Definitely, yeah, because I mean, there's going to be a lot of time when you're not playing shows and have to just be sitting around, so it's good to
it's like,
have some sense of that.
I mean, for me, a big thing that I was just personally, I would say that more so generally, but for me personally, a big thing that I don't cut corners on is just like personal wellness in general. Like I bring, back massager, I bring all kinds of vitamins and supplements and stuff. I bring weights and just things to just like stay active and stay healthy and stuff. But like, I don't know, because it's like when I'm out and on tour, it's like just I feel like in a totally different. I feel like my body's just totally in a different mindset, or just a different at a different speed overall. But like, I like it, but it's like very different from when I'm actually at home. So like when I am home, I do like being able. I love to have just like a very set sort of schedule, like a routine, and just have the things that I do. It's like, okay, I go to work these days and I go on a run these days. I like having order in my life in that sense. So like touring is not good for that, I guess. Like if I had a much more like firmly planted life and had more roots laid down, I feel like I could understand why touring might, like, people might really, really not like touring if they have a lot of roots laid down and whatnot. But like, for me, it's like when I am home, I like to have that, but I can also recognize that like it's harder to do when you're on tour. But I just kind of embrace that. I'm like, okay, it's like I'm not gonna be able to have that same schedule and everything, but that's fine. I'm just gonna roll with it.
Right. And I guess that just kind of comes with, like the balance over time, like spending so much time touring and spending so much time at home, you kind of, is
Yeah, I
one
mean,
kind
it's like
of less exciting than other things.
I'm not gonna be able to do it forever. So I mean, I'm just gonna enjoy it as much as I can while I can, and that's like uh, I think a lot of people lose sight of that it's like you're not gonna be able to do this forever. And then obviously, like all of last year was a huge wake up call to that, where it's like people are like, shit, like I mean, I was even feeling that, like, literally a year ago today, like on my birthday, I was kind of I posted about it online recently about how it's kind of like this time last year I was really dreading my birthday because we were doing we were on tour, but it was an off day where we were just driving. So we were gonna be driving all day, and I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I'm gonna be just driving all day on my birthday. And then like this year, I'm like, dude, I really wish that we were doing that fucking hell drive on tour right now. Like, I
Yeah,
so badly wish we were doing that. And
yeah.
so I was like, it was kind of a wake up call where I was like, damn, I like kind of took that for granted, and I felt kind of spoiled and shitty about it. But I'm like, never gonna take that shit for granted again.
Did it like make you realize how much you kind of love and appreciate the process?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. Like
things? Is that kind of what it was?
even the nitty gritty of it, like the things like that drive in particular. It was our drive from Dallas, Texas to we were going to Mesa, Arizona. So it was like we had Dallas a day off and then Mesa. So it was like we were driving that whole day off, and I'm like, that drive has always kind of been my least favorite drive of any tour that we've done, because it's like there's not much to see. It's not like it's just kind of a long ass drive, and I've always kind of dreaded that. And so I was like, damn, we're doing that on my birthday. That sucks. I wish we
Yeah.
were like playing a show on my birthday or something. But then now I'm like, I mean, not that I'm like, oh man, this sucks. I'm at home right now. Like it's been fine, but I'm like, I really wish I'm like I really wish that I hadn't taken that for granted in a way.
Yeah, I feel that, man.
So
Where do you see the future
needless
of
to say,
touring?
what was that?
Where do you see the future of touring going? Is like COVID clears up, if it ever does. Like I don't know,
Uh,
just where do you see touring going? Like from here?
I don't. I am no expert. I am feeling optimistic. I'm feeling hopeful that shit will return this year. I don't have high hopes for this summer. I hope that I'm wrong. But I don't. Just being real about it, like I just
Yeah.
don't think that we will be at that point yet. Like I feel like if anything, just reading what I've been reading about it, I feel like maybe like people are talking about herd immunity and stuff, and like talking about achieving that by summer or whatever. Like I don't know. Maybe maybe that's if that's the case. Like I don't if we achieve herd immunity by summer, that's the thing though, is it's not going to be like overnight. Like okay, people are okay. I'm going to be totally comfortable with going back into a crowd of people now. It's like
Yeah.
it's going to take a little bit of time to like get back to. I don't think that anything is going to be completely the same going forward. I feel like
No.
COVID has kind of been like, and I say this not trying to be like insensitive or anything. This is just talking about like things on a very general level, like talking on a general of societal mass inflection. I think
Mhm.
that COVID is like this generation's mass inflection point, the way that 9/11 was for me growing up when I was like in third grade. It's like that moment in time
Mhm.
where like, I mean, granted COVID's been like a worldwide thing, but like every looking inward, it's like this massive point where everything just kind of stops. Everyone looks in. It's like you talk to anyone that was alive when 9/11 happened, and they knew where they were and what they were like. They remember that shit if they were old enough to remember it. But it's
Right.
like, and then like life has not been the same since then. Like there are permanent changes that have been affected because of that, and
Mhm.
I think that I think similarly of that with COVID, where I don't think there are going to be things that change forever going forward, but I do think that we'll be able to reach some sense, like a state of general normalcy. But yeah, it's just kind of I don't really know. I'm no expert. I don't know exactly where to what the future hold, like the immediate future holds. But I am feeling hopeful that I don't know that things will resume this year.
Yeah, I really
Maybe
like
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, because
maybe
it's
I'm
like
wrong.
after 9/11, airports were never the same. It's like after
Exactly.
COVID, public events may never be the same. Just shit like
yeah,
that.
I feel like just the way that people interact is going to be different overall. Like I feel like people aren't going to be, as necessarily prone to be like, I don't know, just being like super. People are, I feel like, always going to be kind of like a little bit more at a distance, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit more, just like
maybe just a little bit, yeah.
Like how people they're like, oh yeah, like the banks drained all our money, like during like the Great Depression or whatever. That's how we're
exactly.
You know what I mean? That shit.
That's exactly it's like, you have like people that were the Great Depression generation. It's like after that they were never the same. They were never the same with money again. They were like always, hiding money in their mattresses and stuff, and it's like they were never like that permanently changed how they looked at it. And then you get the generation after that was totally different from that. And it's like, it's just a generational thing. And I feel like this is going to be a massive generational inflection point for us and the younger generations. It's like they're always going to have this sort of like societal, I guess, kind of like baggage from this.
Yeah, just almost like maybe like a scar, because it's like it'll go away, but like only mostly,
Yeah, it'll go away, but people aren't going to forget about it.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
and that's good. Like I think that's a good thing.
It's good. Yeah.
Like I think I don't know. I personally, if this means that like, someone in public is gonna be less likely to just come up to me, some strangers just less likely to be super close to me in public. Like great, stay the fuck away from me. Like I'm cool with that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm beyond okay with random strangers just like not being super close to me.
Yeah, dude, I wouldn't be upset about that. And just in the spirit of things changing, ending, growing, starting, just all that type of stuff. Are there any labels that you miss, or any bands that you miss, or just stuff that you miss, as we're kind of getting to the end of all this?
Man, I mean, as we were talking about earlier, I miss modern baseball.
Yes.
Obviously, I feel like that that sentiment is widely shared.
Absolutely.
Same with Title Fight. Like, I don't know. I miss that. I do miss that time of like early 2010s.
Yeah,
just like where the scene was at that time. A lot of the music then, it's like that. It's like there's plenty of great stuff coming out now, but I feel like everything is, and I don't think this is a bad thing at all, but I feel like everything is so much more like broad and opened up, and kind of like it's that early 2010s. I sound fucking old now. Like I'm really showing my age, but like, I feel like there was something about that time and place for me where it was like a lot more, like the world kind of seemed smaller in a sense then. It was a lot more.
It did, man.
It was a lot like, I don't know what it is. There's something about it where it just seemed a bit more like, I don't know, like when I was in high school, fucking no one gave a shit about anything remotely, like anything I was fucking with at that time. I didn't know like anyone really that liked that shit either. And it's like, I feel like now, I mean, granted, things have expanded more and gotten just overall bigger in general, but I feel like there's plenty of stuff now where it's like, it's kind of hard to exactly articulate. Like, I feel like this general scene that we're in the overall sort of culture is kind of like broadened and opened up and expanded more to where now it's like, now, I don't know, I feel like so many more people are into it now that like it's just very different overall. And I think it's a good thing. I'm glad that like I don't know, I'm glad that more people, that maybe it's not even that much more people, not drastically more people, just more so people are more connected now. But like there's something about that time and place where it just, I don't know, there's something like things seemed a bit more like when big things happened to a band, it was like so much more exciting, and so much more exciting and so much more like, oh shit, like this is this is wild. This kind of hasn't been done before. Like an example I'll point to is like I was referencing them earlier, the Sidekicks. When they first signed to Epitaph, I was like, holy fuck! Like they signed to Epitaph. Like I mean that's not to say that isn't a big deal, because Epitaph's a huge label and that's awesome. And but like I feel like since then I've known so many bands that have signed to Epitaph or like a label similarly as big. You know what I mean? So it's like it's kind of different to where it's like back then. I feel like a lot of what's happening today was just getting started then, and it's like it was kind of the makings of the entire culture really rapidly transforming over the next handful of years, and seeing it all kind of like start to trickle in was like something was like it was like really, really exciting.
Definitely, man.
It's all still exciting now. I mean, I say that not trying to sound jaded at all, because I am very excited about where everything is continuing to like I don't know where it's gone and where it's going. Like I don't know, I'm very optimistic about things. So I feel lucky to say that I'm not like jaded about shit.
Yeah, dude, I feel the same way. I definitely miss all that, and I just miss it. But I am very excited for the way things are now. It's just like
and I think
back then things just felt smaller, like you said.
I think it's important though. Like I don't know, I don't like look back on everything. I'm like, damn, like I wish that was still. Like I wish that we were stuck in that moment in time. It's like no, I mean it was cool, and like I look back on it fondly, but it's not like I'm like, oh, like take me back. I don't know. I'm like I'm glad that I experienced it, and for what it was when it happened.
Yeah, I just feel like back in the day, like if I knew, like if someone told me like they listened to like a band like Tiger's Jaw or something, I could be pretty much rest assured that they also knew about bands like Title Fight, Basement, C-Haven, and all that shit. But now it's like they might just listen to Tiger's Jaw like a lot because I don't know, it popped up on their Spotify, and they don't listen to any other music like that. That's just kind of what I've noticed over like the years as they've kind of gone on.
Totally, and I feel similarly with like like that kind of summarized it exactly where it's like you can meet someone who likes a certain band. It's like I feel like early 2010s it was kind of like, oh, you like this band, so that means you at least know about this band, this band, this band, and this band. Mm-hmm. But like, it's not as much the case now, for better or for worse. Weird. Like, I don't think that's like necessarily a bad thing, but I think that is something that is sort of like kind of noticeably different.
Right. Like I'll have like random girls that I'll like just kind of just be talking to, and they're like, oh, have you like heard of Turnover? And I'm like, yeah, I've heard of Turnover.
I've heard of them.
They're pretty cool. It's just funny, man.
I've heard of them, but I've never heard them.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I think I like listened to them like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago or something,
Yeah, I feel like I've heard a song or two.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to talk about or just discuss that I haven't really brought up yet before we kind of cap this thing off and put a little bow on it?
Maybe we could just nothing in particular. I don't know. Nothing super pressing coming to mind right away.
Okay, for sure, man. I guess just one last little thing. Yeah, just before we just get out of here. So It's been like well over a year now, but you cut your hair. I feel like it was I know it wasn't, it feels like very recently, but do you feel like that represents like one era of Eric and then you're now in like another era of Eric, or is am I kind of like romanticizing it? Like
No. I feel like it kind of is in a way. I mean, when I think of me with long hair, I think of I just kind of immediately go back to 2017, even though it wasn't like 2017 was the only year that I had long hair, but that's where I go to, and I think back very, very fondly on 2017. That's not to say that since I cut my hair that my life has been hell, but I don't know. I think back fondly on that year in particular. I think I kind of associate, oh yeah, when I had long hair, that was kind of like as we were starting to like do things more, just be more active overall with Heart Attack Man. And
Yeah, definitely.
for a lot of people, when they first discovered us and everything, I had long hair. You know what I mean? It's like I had long hair since we had started playing shows with Heart Attack Man, pretty much. Or no. Let me think. Well, I guess in like the very early days of the band, I didn't. But like for a lot of us coming up and everything, I had long hair. So yeah, I guess it was kind of like a different era in a sense.
Yeah, like all those old promo photos. I think there are some promo photos where it's like literally just you and Adam, like you were saying, and you have like the long hair. And I think it's one of the photos where you're like holding a gun or something. That's the one that comes. But yeah,
that was
I think yourself growing it out again.
No, I've been asked a couple times if I would like whether or not I would grow it out again. I don't think I'm not feeling it. Like I don't know. I'm not gonna say never, but like really leaning towards no, because just like looking back at pictures of me now, like I don't know. I just kind of think looking at it now, I'm like, damn, like it looks kind of weird. But maybe I'm just biased. But I don't plan on growing it back out again anytime soon.
Hey man, as long as you're doing you, man, that's all that really matters. As long as you like it and you love it and you're doing it, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Well, guess we'll cap it off right here, man. Thank you so much for talking and hanging out. There were some points where I kind of forgot we were doing a podcast, but like that's the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let me see. I'll just tell Craig to leave here.